So I recently did a series of short videos on how my family stretched a $6 turkey into 4 different meals, and I'm bringing it all together into one video today. So for day one, my original plan was to put this entire turkey in the Instant Pot just to go ahead and get the whole thing cooked. There is no meat more tender than turkey or chicken in the Instant Pot, so that was what I was going for. I decided to go ahead and put the entire turkey in there just to see if it was going to fit first. And I realized pretty quickly that no matter how I put this turkey in there, it was not going to fit. So after regrouping and whining about it to my husband, he suggested cutting the wings and the legs off and cooking those separate and putting just the turkey breast in the Instant Pot. Also, if you know me personally, then you know I've had my fair share of stitches this year just from kitchen mishaps. So my husband ultimately decided it was probably best he cut the legs and wings off. So the new and revised plan became to bake the legs and the wings and cook the breast in the Instant Pot. So I weighed the breast, put it in this fancy little sling, and added it to the Instant Pot with about a cup and a half of water, and I cooked that on manual pressure for 7 minutes a pound. Meanwhile, I got ready to bake the wings and the legs. I didn't do anything special here, just greased a casserole dish and placed them inside the casserole dish and seasoned them to our liking. Then I baked them at 350 until they reached an internal temp of 165. To go along with the wings and legs tonight, I'm going to do some mashed potatoes. So while that turkey was cooking, I peeled and sliced up a couple pounds of potatoes and put those on the stove to boil. Also salted those potatoes and added a couple cloves of garlic. Also, you can't have a meat and potatoes without something green, so I threw on some green beans. Once the chicken breast was done in the Instant Pot, I went ahead and took that out. Also, this sling has been a lifesaver, so I will tag that in the description. I'm also going to save the broth in the bottom of the Instant Pot. It ended up being an entire quart of broth, and I use broth almost every single night when I'm cooking. Now it's time to slice up this breast, and you can tell just by the way it's falling apart how tender it is. As I'm going through slicing this up, I'm also keeping all the bones because I plan on making more broth. Right as I finished up with the turkey breast, our wings and legs were done, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those out of the oven. But you can't have mashed potatoes without some gravy, so I'm going to take some of the juices from our baked turkey and make some gravy for these mashed potatoes. Now I know this was a lot of work in the kitchen today, but it ended up being a delicious meal, and a lot of the prep work for the next couple of nights is done. Once we finished eating dinner, I pulled the meat off the rest of the bones and put the bones in the fridge because tomorrow we are going to make some bone broth. And I was able to fill up this entire bowl with leftover turkey, and we got an entire bag of bones. Oh, and a quart of broth. So to recap, on top of dinner tonight, we have a couple pounds of turkey, an entire bag of bones for broth, and a little over a quart of broth. So we're going to jump into day 2 of the $6 turkey. That morning, I went ahead and put all of those bones in a stock pot with a ton of water and allowed those to simmer all day. I had a ton of questions on this pot in my short, so I will tag it in the description, but it has truly been a game changer for making broth. Each side has its own little strainer, so when you're done, you just go ahead and pull it out, drain it, and dump it. It would also be great if you make a lot of pasta or if you fry a lot of foods. Once we get all of our bones in and get them completely submerged in water, I'm going to put the lid on and just let it be for the day. This was my midday check-in, and I did kind of play with the temps throughout the day, kind of boiling, simmer. Now moving on to dinner for night 2. We are going to have turkey and dumplings. Same thing as chicken and dumplings, just turkey and dumplings. I'm using some of the broth that I got off the chicken breast last night, and while I'm bringing that up to boil, I'm going to go ahead and make my dumplings. For the dumplings, I did 2 cups flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons melted butter, and 1 cup of milk. And I will put that recipe up on the screen if you need to screenshot. But we're just going to throw all these ingredients in a bowl and mix. And once you mixed it into a dough-like consistency, you're just going to drop spoonfuls of this dough into boiling water and let it gently simmer for about 10-15 minutes. It's also kind of a tradition for us to have grilled cheese with our chicken and dumplings, or I guess I should say turkey and dumplings. And I got this smoked cheddar cheese from Aldi. It is delicious. If you have an Aldi nearby, I really encourage you to try that cheese. I got all of my sandwiches ready, and then I started adding all of my turkey to my boiling turkey broth. Since this turkey is already cooked, I don't want to add it to the boiling broth until almost last minute. So I went ahead and threw it in and started on our grilled cheeses. And while the grilled cheese were cooking, I went ahead and spooned in some dumplings. Unfortunately, nothing got burned and it all came together nicely and was done at the same time, which almost never happens, by the way. So this was dinner for day 2, and after all 3 of us got a bowl, there was still a ton left over. Once I finished cleaning up after dinner, I went ahead and decided to jar up this turkey broth. And again, with the convenience of this pot, I was able to just dump those turkey bones out and get right to getting this broth in the jars. And I ended up with 5 quarts of turkey broth. And now for day 3 of this $6 turkey. I have to admit, day 3 was my absolute favorite. We did turkey enchiladas and the flavor was phenomenal. I started by slicing up an onion and a green pepper, and I sauteed them in a skillet with some butter and some of the turkey broth, just until they were tender and slightly brown. I also put on some refried beans, because it's not quote-unquote taco night without refried beans. And while those veggies were sauteing, I went ahead and got a head start on grating up my cheese. We try and grate all of our cheese, so last year I finally broke down and bought this rotary cheese grater, and it has been a game changer. Next, I'm going to move on to our rice. To a mixing jar, I added 2 cups of our broth, some garlic paste, and some tomato paste. And we're going to whisk these together. We're going to be using this instead of water in our rice because it's going to add a ton of flavor and a little bit of color. Also, my secret to getting the perfect rice is to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in your pot, throw in a cup of rice, and allow it to kind of roast on the heat for a minute or 2, and then add your liquid. We're going to let the rice come to a boil, but meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and dice up some of this turkey for the enchiladas. I only ended up dicing up about 2 or 3 cups of turkey, and we're just a family of 3, so that ended up being plenty. And about the time I finished dicing that up, the rice had come to a boil, so I covered it and let it boil for another 3 to 5 minutes. And then we're going to remove it from the heat and leave it alone for about 30 minutes. Don't stir it, don't take the top off, nothing, leave it alone. For the turkey meat, I just seasoned with our homemade taco seasoning and some of this Kinder's red jalapeno garlic. We went ahead and threw this turkey in a skillet just to bring it up to a warm temp so that once we assembled the quesadillas, they would cook a lot faster. Also, we didn't want a surprise bite of cold turkey meat. While that turkey meat was warming up, I went ahead and made some copycat Taco Bell enchilada sauce. And I will throw that recipe up on the screen so you can screenshot it because it was so good and it tasted just like Taco Bell. But you just throw all these ingredients in a bowl and mix them up, and there you have it. You've got enchilada sauce. And now it is finally time to assemble these enchiladas. I started by adding some of the enchilada sauce to a tortilla and loading it down with cheese. Then I went ahead and threw the turkey meat on there, and I didn't even realize until I was cleaning up the kitchen tonight, but I totally forgot about the bell peppers and onions, and that made me so sad. But the turkeys and chickens really did enjoy them. Once we got our enchiladas assembled how we liked them, I just threw them in the skillet with some butter and cooked them until the cheese melted and they were slightly browned. Threw it on a plate with some refried beans and some of the rice, and then sprinkled the top with some queso sauce. You can even drizzle the tops with some of that extra enchilada sauce. But that was night 3 of the $6 turkey. Day 4 was nothing special. I put the rest of that turkey meat with some mayonnaise and some grapes in the food processor, and I made turkey salad, which ended up giving me 5 sandwiches. So let's recap. Night 1, we had baked turkey with sides. Night 2 was turkey and dumplings, then turkey enchiladas. Plus we got several sandwiches and over a gallon of broth. I do think we got our money's worth of this $6 turkey.